South Korean car brands are back in the sub 50 grand electric car market with this, the Hyundai Inster. It's coming to Australia early next year, but we're here in South Korea for a first drive of this brand new electric car to be priced from about $40,000 before on-road costs in Australia. Does it have what it takes to take on MG, BYD and GWM? Well, in this video, we're going to take you through everything on the outside, show you how roomy it is on the inside, because I think you might be positively surprised given it's so small on the exterior, as well as hit the road to see what it's like to drive. Let's get started. Prices are not due to be announced until closer to the Inster's Australian arrival in February, but it's estimated to start from about $40,000 before on-road costs. There's expected to be a choice of standard and long-range batteries, as well as a cross variant with off-road themed styling and unique trim. Standard features are yet to be confirmed, but available equipment on overseas models includes LED headlights, 15 or 17-inch wheels, dual 10.25-inch interior displays, wide Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, satellite navigation, wireless phone charging, heated front seats, climate control, and a suite of advanced safety technology. At $40,000, the Inster will go up against a slew of entry-level electric cars, including the MG4, BYD Dolphin, and GWM Aura. You can find thousands of new and used cars such as these for sale on Drive Marketplace. Check it out at the link on your screen now. The Inster is based on the petrol-powered Hyundai Casper sold in South Korea. Think of it as the brand's version of a Kia Picanto, but this Inster is bigger in pretty much every dimension. It's longer, with more space between the front and rear wheels for a bigger battery as well as more interior space, and it's a smidge wider as well. Some of the details that set the Inster apart from the Casper include different front and rear end styling, get that sort of pixel light design you see on a Kona Electric or an Ioniq 5, as well as these unique 17-inch wheels on this top of the range version here. Base versions have 15-inch alloys or steel wheels, as well as some little things like the circuit board front design, as Hyundai calls it, on that black panel. Has a pretty unique look here on the road in South Korea. Even though every car here is pretty much a Hyundai or a Kia, this car does stand out with sort of funky and yeah, pretty city-focused styling. I quite like it. Keen to see it on Aussie roads early next year. Inside the Inster, it's safe to say this is not as flashy of a cabin as a Hyundai Ioniq 5 or an Ioniq 6, but still it does the job well enough, and there is enough mod cons here to keep you entertained in 2024. Got two 10.25-inch screens on top of the dash for the instruments as well as the infotainment. They run Hyundai's older software, so you only get wide Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, not wireless. So the screen is fast enough and it does the job, especially compared to some of the other cars in this class at this price point. From a comfort and space point of view, I'm pretty well accounted for here. I'm 186 centimeters tall, or 6'1" if you prefer. Got enough knee room here to the dash, plenty of headroom even with this sunroof up here. Overall, it's a surprisingly roomy space. It's obviously quite narrow across the car, as you'd expect. But you do have a center armrest that moves, and I don't feel too uncomfortable on a longer drive. These seats are quite comfy as well. This Korean market car has this synthetic leather look trim on the seats. Not sure we'll get that in Australia, but if we do, it means we get ventilation as well as heating on the seats, which is great in such a small car like this. In the storage, it is pretty limited. You've got some little odd spots on the dash up here near the USB ports as well as the wireless phone charger. Some of the materials are a bit hard and scratchy, as you'd expect of a car that has been built down to a price. But overall, it's a really nice and comfortable cabin and doesn't feel like Hyundai has cut too many corners to hit that 40 grand price in the EV market. Let's head to the back. The back seat is perhaps the Inster's trump card. Now, there are only 4 seats in this car, so you only get 2 positions in the back. It's not a full 5-seater as you might like, but the 2 seats back here that does have are really, really well packaged. They individually slide as well as recline, so I can bring them all the way forward, have not much room, we'll put them all the way back, and have loads of knee room, as you can see. That's way more than you get in even an i30 from Hyundai. It's a much bigger car than this on the outside. Headroom is pretty good up here as well, and even got a little bit of toe room under the seats in front, even with this one set quite low. It's a flat floor as well, which adds to a feeling of space in the back here. Just like the floor is at the front as well, you can slide from the driver's seat to the passenger seat, say if you're in a tight car park or something like that. Amenities are a little bit light on here though. There's no fold down armrest obviously, because there's no center position. There's no air vents, and the door pockets are quite small, nor are there any map pockets. But there is a USB-C port for charging some devices. I think it's just the sense of space that makes this car quite practical in the back for, say, carrying teenagers on a short trip. And it's actually quite a good second car if you don't plan on using that boot much, which is the trade-off for this spacious rear seat that we'll get to in a moment. Overall, quite impressed with the back of the Inster here, although it isn't the best given the lack of middle seat. I don't think that'll matter for too many buyers who are using this as a city-friendly vehicle. Let's head to the boot. In the boot of the Inster, and this is probably where you can start to see its exterior dimensions have a bit of a limitation in terms of interior space. Got this left seat set up for as far back as it can go, and the right seat as far forward as it can go. As you can see, there's quite a big difference in terms of the space on offer on each side. On the left side, it is pretty tight. There's more space on the right, but again, you will compromise interior space for that. You can lift up this floor to reveal more space underneath, but still, even then, the maximum boot capacity is 351 litres, which is still sort of i30 size or MG4 capacity, whereas in its smallest position, it's something like a Mazda 2, less than 240 litres of boot space. It's pretty small for a car like this. It's a compromise you might be worth considering, and if it's a city-focused car, you're going to put school bags in the back, maybe some shopping bags, it might be all right. Something worth weighing up before you sign on the dotted line for an Inster. The entry-level Inster standard range is powered by a 71 kilowatt, 147 Newton meter electric motor, and 42 kilowatt hour battery for between 303 and 327 kilometers of claimed driving range in WLTP testing. The model we tested was the long range, powered by an 85 kilowatt, 147 Newton meter electric motor and a 49 kilowatt hour battery for 360 kilometers of claimed range on 17-inch wheels and 370 kilometers on 15-inch wheels, as well as a 0 to 100 kilometers an hour acceleration time of 10.6 seconds, according to Hyundai. The company claims energy consumption of 15.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. We observed efficiency of 9 to 12 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers in our testing. It can fast charge from 10 to 80% in a claimed 30 minutes at up to 85 kilowatts of DC. Alright, on the road in the new Hyundai Inster. This car is a really easy electric car to get along with. Not particularly fast, as you can see with some of those on-paper specs. Won't be scaring Teslas at the traffic lights, that's for sure, but still, there's enough poke for city driving, accelerating into little gaps. Though, at higher speeds, if you do take this on the motorway, overtakes will require a little bit of planning. Now, these cars we're driving are Korean market vehicles, so they have softer suspension than what we'll be getting in Australia next year. But still, these cars, as we're driving them today, are pretty soft and quite comfortable over bumps, you can probably see there, but they aren't the most dynamic. You can sort of turn the steering wheel, and there is a bit of body roll for a car like this, but still, again, we'll reserve our full judgment for that in the final versions we get in Australia next year, but the initial impressions are good if it is anything like this around town. Steering is quite light at low speeds, but it does get a bit of heft at higher speeds, which is nice, and you don't feel like this car is being blown away by crosswinds all the time. It does feel pretty stable at higher speeds. In terms of the brakes, you don't use them a whole lot because it has such a good one pedal regenerative braking system. You've got a choice of 3 normal regen modes. So you lift off the accelerator and the car will slowly decelerate. But obviously that one pedal mode is you activate that and lift off the gas and then bring the car to a complete stop. It's fantastic for driving around town. And once you start to use it, you do get used to it quite quickly and you never turn back. It's a really, really good feature. Other than that, visibility is really good, front, side and rear. This is a really tall but narrow, boxy car. So it's great to see out of and really fantastic for city driving. There's a bit of road and wind noise at higher speeds, but if you're driving this car around town, the Inster is a really, really good choice. Excited to drive a final version on Aussie roads early next year. All right, let's head to the verdict. So, the Hyundai Inster. It may not be perfect for all customers. It is quite small, especially that boot as well, but it promises to be a really appealing option for buyers in this small electric vehicle category. It will all come down to the price. So is it less than $40,000 or more than 40 grand? And given how dynamic this part of the electric car market has been in the last couple of months, that will make all the difference. But if it is well priced, it's got a great interior, surprising amount of room inside for what is such a small car on the outside. It drives well and it promises really great energy efficiency as well as driving range for city-focused buyers. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. To stay up to date with our latest videos, hit subscribe and that little notification bell. And of course, to read the full review on Drive.com.au, go to the link in the description below.